We've all been there. You have hundreds, if not thousands, of wonderful family photos from over the years, but they're scattered in boxes around the house or taking up space on your phone. But with the pandemic still in full swing, many of us are still spending a lot more time at home than usual. So what better time than now to get those photos organized so you can enjoy them for years to come? Here to give us some tips on how to do just that is home organization expert and certified KonMari consultant, Christina Campbell. Good morning, Christina.
Morning. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us.
If there's ever a silver lining in these pandemic days, it's that we now have time to do some of those projects that we've been putting off for ages.
Isn't that the truth? Now, Christina, I'm just looking at my phone here, and I'm embarrassed to say I have 19,000 photos on my phone. I had a son that was born last year, and I take a picture of absolutely everything he does. So what is the best way for someone like me to get started?
Listen, I think a lot of us are in that same boat, whether we're hanging on to printed photos or digital ones. The very first thing we want to do is plan for our end goal. So what I mean by that is that you've got to start with what's the end goal here. Maybe you want to create a photo album or a photo book for family or friends. Maybe you want to digitize and back up some of your photos for security, or maybe you want to create a family photo wall like the one you see behind me. Whatever your end goal is, make sure to write those down on an individual sticky note and post them above the area where you're going to be working so that you're going to stay motivated and not abandon your project.
That is a great idea, and I love that family photo wall you have behind you, and it's so much better to have these photos on display. So once you have your plan in place, how would you recommend we begin to gather all our photos to begin this organizing process?
Right. So gathering is our next step. What you want to do is set up your own workspace that will be solely for this project. Don't do it on your dining table. You're going to have to clear it eventually. I like to recommend setting up a folding table that's going to be out of the way, and it's going to be there for the duration of your project. Take those Post-it notes that you just wrote with your goals, stick them above, and then simply start with your printed photos. So gather them from every kind of drawer and nook and cranny in your house. Just get them all in one place. We're not making decisions, we're just gathering. And then you're going to do the same thing for your digital photos. So as you said, some of us have them on our phones, some might be on your partner's phone, some might be on CDs, some might be on your laptop. What we need to do is upload those to one common digital space. So for me, that's usually just separate folders on my laptop, but you might use sort of a photo program like Google Photos or Flickr, something like that.
Okay, so now that we've created this huge mess on that table or those photos folders on our computer, what do we do next?
Okay, this is going to be the part with the heavy lifting, and this might take you a while, but keep the faith. So now we need to start sorting. So for most people, it makes sense to sort chronologically, but maybe you've already been keeping up and you feel pretty good about what you've done until now. So maybe you're doing your more specific project, like a special trip or a milestone birthday. You can sort it that way. Now we have to start to make some decisions when we're sorting. So all of those birthday photos, you know, we've got 30,000 pics of the birthday girl blowing out the candles. Keep the best one. We've got to get rid of all those duplicates or where people aren't looking at the camera. I'm not saying to delete everything right now, but just star your favorites, move them into a folder, and we can deal with those.
That is such a good tip, because I know just looking at my phone, I have, you're right, 30 photos of the exact same thing, and some are better than others. Yep. So maybe picking up that best one. So, and of course, also we've heard of, you know, horror stories of either a basement flooding or a computer crashing, you're losing your phone, and you lose all those beautiful memories. So how can we ensure that those photos are protected for years to come, Christina?
Oh, so important. Once we've done all that work of sorting our photos, it's the perfect time to back up and secure them. Most people will use an external hard drive for this. You could use sort of a large storage USB key. Some people prefer to save to the cloud. However you're managing your most important documents is the same way that you want to back up your photos. As for your pre-digital photos, I'm not suggesting that you go back and scan every single one of those, but definitely your favorites, the ones that have been in the family for generations and you want to make sure that they stay in the family, it might make sense to scan them in a photo scanner like this one.
That is a great idea. And we're just wrapping up here. Do you have any other tips for people who are watching at home, just looking at that mountain of photos, not knowing what to do?
Listen, I will say this as an organizer, no one has ever regretted the decision to take the time to organize their photos and display them. You do want to make sure that you don't end up in this huge backlog again. So what I recommend and what I do for myself is I set a calendar reminder in my phone monthly. I get rid of all those duplicates, all those doubles, and I just save my favorite ones. And then I set an annual calendar. Usually for me, it's over the holidays when I'm not going anywhere. And that's when I do something with all those photos I've accumulated from the year past. And final tip, find a buddy. You're so much more likely to stay accountable and be able to have something to show if you have a buddy you're doing this with and you can sort of track your progress together.
And just referencing again that beautiful photo wall behind you, how do you pick which photos you're going to put on the wall, or perhaps which ones belong in a picture frame or an album? Christina, how would you, in terms of creating these beautiful pieces to show off, how would you do that?
You know, definitely the ones that you look at and spark so much joy for you. For mine, I'm not sure if you can see it all, but it's definitely a mix of heirloom photos, you know, photos that have been passed down through the generations that just help us and ground us. And then it's also some of our favorite moments, right? So whatever sparks joy.
I love that spark joy phenomenon. So thank you so much for this morning. I am feeling inspired. I really need to go through my phone. So thanks for these awesome tips, Christina.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right, that was home organization expert Christina Campbell. For more information about her, you'll find a link on our website.